So at this point, we're going to invite Tracey Kimberley. Thank Michelle very much for her
My
time.
pleasure.
And Tracey is going to talk to us about her experience as a coach.
Okay.
Welcome, Tracey.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much. It's my turn now. So this afternoon, I decided to call my talk Practical Magic. I'll let you know what that means in a little while. But change is within all of us. So where do I go? Everybody's journey is different. Why you're making changes, it's different. And I thought this picture represented very much everybody's journey. And where are you going to go next? For some people, it's very hard to make change because they don't know the next step. Who do I need to see? Who do I need to talk? What do I need to talk about? And it makes life very, very difficult when you don't know where to go. Something I do as a coach is I learn from all these people that we've been learning from today, and I pick up on key words and key things that they talk about. So when people are talking to me, I can say, I might need to build a relationship with Michelle, Melissa, Tara, Jess, Tom, and work out how we can work with these people in a partnership so they are in patient-centered care. And that might be something that we build, and that's where they need to go. And then we can work on the next step and the next step. So one of the things I decided to talk about is what we need on this road trip we're about to go on. So you'll see a bit of a theme with all my slides. But the first one I decided to talk about is support. Support's extremely important, both from a medical side of things and a personal side of things. If you don't have the right support around you, it's very unlikely you're going to get far. Medical support is extremely important because you need people, and if you have a group of medical people that you are working with, they all need to be on the same page. They all need to be working with you and working together. So there's no point in having somebody who doesn't believe in a low carbohydrate diet, but the rest of your team does, because you might get conflicting data, you might get conflicting knowledge, and you won't have the right support. But support also for your personal journey is extremely important. And it might mean that you don't hang around some of the friends that you were before because you want to make these changes. Yeah, that is really tough because change is really tough sometimes. Whoop, I went, see, I told you I needed a button. Dead end. What does that mean? So for some people, it means, well, this is a dead end. If you want to make change, you can't keep doing the things that you used to do because where you are is because of the things that you have done. So these things are a dead end. You have to change these things if you want to make change. I know that sounds very easy, and it's very easy to say, but it's extremely difficult to do, as Michelle has just said, because it is very much ingrained with us, some of these habits and some of these daily things that we do. So one thing I do is I help people make those changes or become aware of the bad habits or the bad things they were doing, and I help and support by giving them options. Not everything is going to work, and there are always different options for other people because we are all very, very different. So what could be wrong for somebody could actually be right for somebody else. One way. This has a dual meaning. The first one I'll start off with. When Ashley was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, we only had one way that we had to accept, and we had to accept that she needed to be on insulin for the rest of her life. It was a very confronting thing that we had to deal with, but it was necessary for her survival. One way also means there is only one way, and that is your way. You may have the same destination as somebody else, but how you get there and how I work with people to get there is your one way. Be very, very confronting, this one, for people too, because sometimes we are relearning who we are on many, many levels, not just our diet. So it can be very challenging and confronting for many people to say, hey, no, I don't want that anymore because it's not right for me, especially if you're in a group setting, because, hey, who wants to be the odd one out? Guess what? We are all odd ones out because we are all individual. This is the biggest one I hear all the time. I'm dropping the ball. You know what? We're human beings. We make mistakes. We make mistakes daily. Some we don't even pick up on. Some we don't really care. But for some reason, when it comes to our diet and when it comes to lifestyle choices, sometimes it's so ingrained within us to really kick ourselves when we're down. And we really pick on ourselves when we've dropped that ball. One thing I do as a coach is, if you've dropped the ball once or twice, I say, you know what? We're a human being. It happens. But then what I do is I actually watch and I look and I see when we're dropping the ball. I might ask questions around you dropping the ball or making a mistake. And sometimes we might find a bit of a pattern or a habit. It might be an emotional trigger. It might be a friend. It might be a stressful situation at home. And we can work around that and we can actually strengthen your resilience to not drop the ball. But I do want people to know that when you're making changes, it's okay to drop the ball, because don't look at it in a bad way. Look at it in a really empowering way that you can say, you know what? That's the 1001 time that I'm going to learn that that's not for me, because we are individuals. Speed limit. There are many, many times when you make changes that you need to slow down. Sometimes if you make too many changes, you don't know what ones you are making are the right ones, what ones may not be right for you because you're just too fast going through everything. So you need to slow down sometimes and really take a good look at, how am I feeling? What am I thinking? Do I really like where I am? And it is okay to only put one foot in front of the other. We don't all have to get to our destination in one giant leap. Do not enter. This is something that does take a while. And what this means to me is when you're put in a situation where you're trying so hard to make the changes and you don't want to go to a situation where you know you may become confronted with a choice that you have to make. So going to dinner. For some people, it's extremely difficult. It's very, very hard to go out in public and to choose something from a meal and say, excuse me, waiter, I don't want this. That's on this food that I'm ordering. May I change it to this? You know what? That's okay. It really is okay to tell these people that you don't want something, but it is also okay not to put yourself in situations that for a moment in time that you may feel scared. You may feel like you will not succeed in what you are doing. And it's okay to tell people, that's not for me. But you have to remember it within yourself. So when you are changing over right from the beginning, don't put yourself in situations where you know you might fail. Because you are growing, you're still tender, you're making these changes. You are still learning who you are. So one thing I love to say to people is when they've done something really, really happy, or they've done something really exciting, or I learn about what excites them, I ask them, where do they feel that? Where do they feel and what's the feeling? And you see them smile and they might say, oh, it's in my heart, or it's in my hands, I get really excited. And I get them to use this feeling when they're making choices with food, making choices with relationships, making choices to do the changes that they want to do or think that they need to do. We work on those ones as well. Is staying on your path. When you feel excited, when you feel happy, you're walking on your own path. You're doing something that speaks to you in here. And I tell you what, that is an extremely powerful thing, is knowing that you're doing something that's right for you. So health for me, and what I work with when I work with people, I start with these four. Spiritual health. That's very different for everybody. It's a very open topic that I do like to keep very open. There are some people that don't want to go there, and that's okay. But we look at things like gardening, connecting with the earth, connecting with a different part of you. It might be something that you've always wanted to explore, but don't feel you can because someone might judge you. But yoga, Tai Chi, these are all beautiful spiritual. It's a health side, it really is. If you don't have these bases all built up, you might find that that's where you're crumbling. You don't have an outlet for a spiritual side or a connection side. Physical health, it does have two meanings, but I liked this one because obviously today we've been learning about food. So you all know about the physical, putting the food and the good food in our body. I'm going to talk about physical health. Going walking, stretching, yoga. Our bodies are designed to move. You don't have to go for a marathon. You don't have to run, but you could just go and do a class. I mean, being in it like right here, right now, some of those ladies might be new mums. They've been stuck with their babies. Well, it's not really stuck. They might be with their babies all the time, and so they're speaking baby language, changing nappies. So going and being with some other ladies that they can connect with, that can be such a physical response with happiness, but it's also doing something physical for themselves. Mental health. Now that's a really big topic, and there is a difference, I believe, in mental health and emotional health. Mental health is looking at, how you're feeling. Well, it's more your thoughts, actually, mental health. What do you think of things? How do you think when something happens? What is your trigger? What's your response? But your emotional health is your feelings. And like this picture suggests, many times we feel things that we know the other person wants us to feel, but do we actually feel that on the inside? Is that the right feeling for us? And knowing your feelings in different situations can actually be very empowering, because there are, especially when we're going through changes, we might be a little bit more withdrawn or feel a little bit weaker because we're growing. So knowing your emotional response to something can help you grow. Do I actually feel confused, but I'm not angry? Or do I feel upset, but I'm not, anger seems to be one that people love. When people are judging us and going at us, we can become angry because we just jump into defensive mode. But is that actually how we're feeling? Or do we actually feel, we're feeling good about ourselves, but this person might be trying to make us feel angry or upset, or we will just start to judge ourselves. So emotional health is very, very important to just know what you're thinking. This one's a tough one to swallow, so to speak. There is no magic way, no magic pill, no magic elixir, no magic food that is going to help you make change. I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. Do you know what exists? Is the magic within inside us. The magic, you might call it essence, you might call it chi, you might call it light, but that is inside us. And you know what? It's hard to find it sometimes because we might have suppressed it for so long. So sometimes you might have to look a bit further. You might have to go a little bit deeper. And you know what? You might have to go places you've never been before. It's scary. But what you need to remember, that is in your hands, the ability to change. It's right there. To wrap it up, I found this little saying and I thought it was fantastic, because little bits, little changes can make a massive compounding effect. My grandma used to say to me, count your pennies because your pounds will do it for themselves. But I liked this one. Well, it may seem small. The ripple effect of small things is extraordinary. You, my friends, are extraordinary. So keep making the small changes. keep moving forward. And if you ever need any support, you have all these people you've been seeing today. Thank you.